It's six
Hello.
o'clock on the dot in Central Standard Time. So you
Hi,
guys
Dr. P.
know already, I got to start on time so we can end on time. And just a caveat, today is hubby's birthday, so we have birthday plans right after this. So strap in, get your pens out, get your get your notes, whatever it is you need, get it on out. And that's why I told
All right.
folks to get here and get on time. Some people have already signed up for next week's class, so they'll just jump in there. We'll just dig right in. I'm going to go pretty quickly in this, but wanted just to come on, say hi to you guys. I sometimes turn off my camera because I want you guys focused on what I am going over on that screen, not necessarily what my hair is doing or my shirt is twisting or any of those other kind of things. You guys can feel free to go into that meeting chat, drop your names, where you're from, what you want to learn here, and I'll try to get to those questions and things like that as we get through. If you have a dying question, raise your hand. Hopefully I'll see it or put it in the chat as I'm going through this information. So I do want to give you guys just a real rough overview of what EAH is and what it has done for my business. And I'm going to speak to you guys from two different channels on this because not only way back, it must have been now 21 years ago, this program was piloted here in Kansas City. We were one of only 5 associations. The Kansas City Regional Association was one of 5 who were piloting this program with the National Association of Realtors and I believe it was Fannie Mae. Back then, the program was called Home from Work. So when people tell you they've been teaching this and that, if they weren't teaching when it was called Home from Work, then they just got on, just probably paying attention to what's going on. But since then, when they decided to, Fannie Mae decided to let the program go, and NAR kept the program and then retitled it under employer assisted housing. When they did that, I was one of the first instructors to come on and take the program, teach the program, but more importantly, I was interested in utilizing the program because, again, for those who don't know me, know that I came from a nonprofit background. For those who know me, know I came from a nonprofit background. I moved into Kansas City, and once I left the nonprofit side of the business, I was terminated on March 23rd, my husband and I had to start a real estate company. And when I started that real estate company, I had to figure out how I was going to lead in that space as an independent real estate owner. No background in sales of real estate or any of those kind of things, just my own creativity. This was the only program that I recognized through NAR that if I did it correctly, I'd have a business model that I can sell. And so when I tell people, when you take this class, you will hear it differently from different instructors. So it's okay to hear it differently from different instructors. Some instructors teach this material from the book, and that's fine. I don't teach from the book, I teach from experience. I reference the book and I reference the material because I was the only one of the only instructors who were certifying other instructors in this material. Okay. So when NAR said, hey, we have a national conference, we want to bring in 10 more instructors, I want you to certify them. I came on site, certified their instructors for them, had them go through the certification class. And when they no longer were doing that, they allowed me to certify those instructors through my school so that they could also teach EAH. And that's how you get people like Jessica Thomas and some of the other people that you may know if you're in Kansas City. They didn't have to go the old way, they just had to get certified with me. So I teach totally differently than any of the other instructors because of that, and also because the part of that I teach that NAR wanted me to teach is how to run it as a business if you're an instructor. Okay. So if you hear people saying they teach it and you go to that class and you're like, oh my gosh, that's not what I learned over here, it's because they can only teach from that book. That makes sense?
Mhm.
All righty. So For those who are just coming in, my name is Tameka Bryant. I've been operating this program as a part of my business model as an independent brokerage for the last 20 years since I've had the brokerage. I was operating it before as an independent real estate agent and also while I worked at other organizations. And more about that at another time. I need to get through this information so you guys have some time for Q&A before I have to wrap it up. Now, keep in mind, guys, that this particular class and course, and if you're doing the program correctly, you do not need a real estate license to implement an employer assistance housing program. Okay, y'all with me? You do not need a real estate license to do this.
So when you say we don't need a real estate license to do it, if we do it in conjunction with our license, are we legal?
Melanie,
Mhm.
you're going to hold questions until
Okay.
later on because
Mhm.
we'll never get through the material.
Okay. Sorry.
So we're going to hold that. I want you to write that question down or put it in there, but we'll get to those questions. But I'm planting these nuggets and seeds because I don't know everybody who's in this room. Some people who are here are real estate agents. Some may be brokers. Some may be broker owners. Some may be loan officers. Some may have been realtors and left the industry and left this business model on the table. So I will tell you again, guys, listen and listen up and go tell your rest of your friends is that you can operate an employer assisted housing program with or without a license. Okay, that should be a note, something that somebody's taking right now. Write it down, just put it in the box or put it wherever you can, and then they'll get that. I got a couple of people trying to get in. Now we are off. So employer assisted housing, really quickly, what is it? For those who haven't been following it, employer assisted housing is a program. It is a benefit program. So when you think of benefits, you guys should think of benefits that employers are providing. Some of those benefits could be vacation time, right? Matching your IRAs. All of those kinds of things are benefits. What this course is all about is showing you how to put your real estate piece of whatever it is you do into and form it as a benefit for an employer. Okay, providing real estate education, financial information, and all these other things that it takes to educate a consumer is really a benefit. The problem is majority of real estate agents will do all of the jobs of everybody else and only earn their commission. I don't know about other people. Y'all should be real tired of doing the counseling. Y'all doing mental work with these clients. Y'all the psychiatrist. You're doing too much. And this puts it into perspective that says, hey, I need a team to do this business. There's no other profession that does business the way we do business. And now the only reason I'm bringing this guys to you this month, because I am totally swamped, is because a colleague of mine, for those who know, Marky Lemons, tagged me out and said, with all of that's going on in this market and where the agents are, associations need to have this class at every association today so that they can recreate their businesses, because this is one of the only business models that allows you guys to do business the way you need to do business to stay relevant in this market. So that's what employer assisted housing is. It really is creating a housing benefit for an employer. Okay, if you don't understand that, write that down so that when it's time, you can go further and get more clarity in that. Now, the what is two things, two sides of this. The what, you're helping buyers and sellers. And yes, you guys can have these slides if you want them later. You just are going to fill out this form later and let me know. We'll provide a link to that later. You're helping buyers and sellers. So for you guys who are in the realtor space, you're saying, well, I help buyers and sellers already. Correct. Now you're going to also assist the employer. Okay, so what are you normally helping buyers and sellers with? In this program, that 4-hour class that I'm doing next week teaches you how to help them. And with the program, you're helping them with education by doing home buyer workshops, seller workshops, all of those kinds of things. You guys should be really familiar with the home buyer workshop, right? So now what you're taking is your home buyer workshop knowledge and marrying it with the employer at the employer's office most times, or wherever your market is. So part of the employer assistance housing program, you as a realtor or a broker or a loan officer or whomever you are saying, we're coming on site, we're going to offer education, we're going to offer financial assistance, and we're going to offer one-on-one counseling and whatever other services that those buyers and sellers need today, so that they can buy a home or whatever it is in that homeowner space. Okay. And I'm saying only in the homeowner space right now, because I'm going to tell you later about other opportunities. Okay. I just want you to have one opportunity at a time so I don't overwhelm anybody. Okay. So now what do the employers need? Employers need great staff. And you all agree? They also have goals that they want to meet. And they also, at the bottom line, they want to make sure that they stay in the black. Okay. And so how they do that is they have to attract and attain great staff. And I put a little, that third bullet is open because I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to think right now. If you have 5 employers that you can think of off the top of your head, what's one thing that they want or need right now? Anybody can jump in. An employer, what do they want or need?
Labor force.
A labor force. Absolutely. So I don't know who said that. Who's that? Who was that?
Jermaine.
All right, Jermaine. Jermaine is up today. We got Jermaine in the house. So Jermaine, they need a labor force. Now, if you go deeper, what kind of labor force would they need? Everybody here is in a different market, so your answers may be different. So when I'm in Panama City Beach, the employers down there need different kind of labor force, and they have to fill a different labor force than employers that are, let's say, in Kansas City. So we may have a huge need for waiters and waitresses during summer time or whatever it is. So every market is going to be a little different. You guys, there's no wrong answer here. It's just up to you based on your business and who you are working with and who your employers are, of how you fill in that blank. So the more research you do, the better it is that the better your program is.
I was thinking of tax write-offs. Would that be a tax write-off for the employers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because and we'll get into that because that ties right into their financial assistance. So an example, Stephanie said, a tax write-off. The city of Kansas City, Missouri, for those who are listening, gave $100,000 for 100 of their employees to get their credit worked on. So pretty much $1,000 each one. That was a tax write-off for them. It helped with employee retention. Y'all with me? And it helped them put that feather in the cap that it's a great place for us to work. Now, some of you have seen those folks on the front covers of your local magazines and stuff. Oh, it's the best place to work and all of those kind of things. So you have employers, some of you got to fill in that blank. They want the recognition. So when you know what those employers want, it's easier for you guys to go ahead and build your program. Okay, y'all got that? Y'all with me? So that's why you don't have any wrong answers here. And that's why you can build your program and customize it to you, and you're encouraged to do so. My program is not going to look like yours. Yours is not going to look like the next person's. And that's why when we get into some of these other slides, you'll see why you need more people on your team. So the who in this case, the who is the employer. So Who are we working with? The employer. And then who's benefiting? The employer and the employees. So this program only is as powerful, guys, as the work that you're going to put into it. Okay. So for me, if I am a real estate agent and I'm looking for the best people to work with, guys, I go right to the employers because they at least got one thing over the people I may meet at Hy-Vee. They got a job. So that checks that first box off. They have a job. And now if I'm coming in to do their home buyer workshops, that has already told them that if the employer trusts me enough to be at the table, then they should trust me enough to help them with their real estate transactions. Y'all with me? Okay. So those who's are the employees and also the employers. And some of you will start having questions on, well, where are the employers? How will I get the employers, right? If you have those questions, you start writing them down. But I'll give you the nugget right now. The last 5 people that you guys worked with were probably employed somewhere. Where were they employed? Those are great places to start because that means you close the transaction with that employee and you have an employee who says, oh yeah, I can vouch for them. Oh yeah, and by the way, I can give you the person you need to talk to that can get you through the door. Those are nuggets. Write down your nuggets. I'm giving these to you guys. So for those who don't want to take next week's class and you want to get right to it, there you go. You can start today and get going. So who else is on your team? Who else are you going to need for this? You're going to need lenders. Notice I didn't say one lender. Because when I open up this program to any of my employers, I always need several lenders. No one lender can do all of the business that I have from that one employer. And guys, when I mean there are several employers, I need several lenders. Sometimes I can have one employer who has 15,000 employees. One of you guys cannot take care of 15,000 employees. I don't care how good you think you are. You cannot. So you're going to need your lenders. You're going to need housing counselors, title reps, inspectors, insurance people. You need referral agents. You need referral agents. And if you are an independent that only has maybe a few agents, you're going to need to have referral agents that are outside of your office if you are running a large program. So that's why I will tell people start with a smaller program first and then expand. When I work my programs, I've had SBC, AT&T, the city of Kansas City, Missouri, which included the police department, fire department, water department, the medical teams, city council, and then I also had the KU Medical Center, and I had all of those at one time. Because KU Medical Center, guess what they were looking for? Guess what the need was for them?
Doctors.
Their doctors were renting for 7, 8 years instead of purchasing. And so I helped them create a program so that their doctors could stay in Kansas City and build wealth and not just rent. They just normally didn't have time. Okay, you guys with me? We're rolling.
Yeah.
Okay, now who else? The clients. And how do you guys use this program? I use this program with builders and developers. If you've been in Kansas City, then you've probably seen me use this program with Bob Hughes. When Bob Hughes had to build a brand new community, I used my EAH program to find those buyers out of those employers that were near that developer's office. So he didn't have to spend a whole lot of money on marketing if I was inside the employer's office with people who came with jobs and an employer who was willing to give them financial assistance. Y'all with me? I'm going to keep asking because I know it's at the end of the day. Some of y'all like slipping off.
We're here.
All right, so be like, wake up now. I go into corporations. The first corporation I ever went into taught me all of the mistakes that I teach to everybody else when they're building their program. Are you guys familiar with Embark? Ever heard of Embark? If you're in the Midwest, you
No.
probably
Yes.
heard of Embark.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
Embark was my first client on the Kansas side. They asked me to come in and do an investors workshop for their employees. They said I'd be in a room and that I would be then screened to the rest of their employees. I never asked the question of, well, how many employees am I being streamed to? And where are these employees? I was just excited to be there. I also didn't ask one particular question, which was, are there any major changes happening in your organization? So the day I showed up and I did what I do, and I had my one lender with me, was ready to go, did my presentation. Guys, they had that day, they did layoffs and they had given all of the people their severance packages with people saying, we got hundreds of thousands of dollars, we need to buy real estate, we need to do this, we need to do that. And my phone was jammed and shut down because it couldn't handle the calls. People were asking me to help them buy properties in Stillwell, Kansas, on farmland. I'm a city girl. I'm a concrete princess. I don't know nothing about no cows and horses and buying any of this land. If I was prepared and asked the right questions, guys, I would have been able to have referral agents lined up with me that could have worked that business, and I could have just gotten my referrals from that. But I wasn't prepared. So asking the right questions of that employer taught me a whole bunch of things about having the right teams in place, making sure I have the right people, and making sure when I turned on my program, I was ready to turn it on. When I have enough clients, enough corporations, I turn my program off and I don't add any more employers because I have more than enough buyers coming through that program or through that city, like the water department. When I do a workshop with them, I get tons of calls from them, their spouses, and whoever their other people. So if you have a contract or if you work with an employer that has 100 people, plan for 300 because all of those people are going to know somebody else. Okay? The next group were my nonprofits. Think of your churches, your hospitals, just all kinds of nonprofits become your clients in this space. So it doesn't always have to be for-profit employees or for-profit companies. That's why you see corporations, not-for-profits, investors, government contracting, international clients, you name it, could be your client. So this program could actually still be utilized in a variety of different ways. So you see how it may teach you how to work with an employer, but that's only you getting in your own box and not thinking about business being this broad and this wide and all the business opportunities that are out there. That means all of those clients could be yours or access to them, or you can build it whichever way you want. So there were times, yes, that I only worked with churches on this program. There are times that I only work with international clients on this program, government contracts, and on and on and on. Typically, guys, you won't work all of the spaces all at once unless you build you a really, really big team. And that's why when we move into what opportunities look like, this is where it's up to you to determine what this looks like. So if you're a realtor or realtist, you can earn here from commissions, retainers. If you're broker owners, guys, you have an opportunity to have inside referrals. So if you're a broker owner and you put this program together, all the leads that come in, you could just give those leads out directly to your agents, side on your commission, and let them handle those leads, those buyers and sellers. Remember, you're getting both when you're working with employers. Okay. When I worked over at Hallmark doing this, I was getting all the foreclosure clients because they didn't want to tell Hallmark that they were in foreclosure. So I set them up a private number where they could call, and Hallmark didn't know that their people were in foreclosure because they were like, well, we pay our people enough. And I'm like, they're not going to bring that information to HR. Okay, so this was a private line they could call and get help. This was during the foreclosure time. Expansion teams, we use that here because you as a person, and here's where you do not have to be a brokerage. You can do it any kind of way, guys, but an expansion team, you could just say, hey, I'm going to create a team here and I have contacts in the same organizations. Like if I decided to go back to an AT&T or whoever, AT&T has locations all over the country. So I could set up a program in Kansas City and then go ahead and set up a team that's in, Atlanta or wherever their next location is. And that team would just work those leads from that AT&T employer. So way before expansion teams was a thing, we were putting expansion teams together and on and on and on. Again, nothing is new. It's repurposed. And you guys can do that right from your home, right from your computer. It's really up to you how you want to grow your business. Government contracts, sponsor a class, etc. Now, the government contracts and you sponsoring a class, those are application things, take you a little longer because as a brokerage, you can be a sponsor of the EAH class and course and have the class in your office, in your city. You don't have to wait on your association. Real estate agents, you can bring the course to your city if you want. Just go through your association, or you have to find a sponsor approved agent like me and say, I want to have this class. Not all agents who teach or all instructors who teach this class are sponsor approved. And that's a whole topic there, but you guys get what I'm saying. Then you have program owners, which means if you're here and you're not a real estate agent and you want to own your own EAH program, what you are pretty much doing is setting up everything. You set up the workshops, you set up the employers, and that's when you learn the portion of how do you get paid by the employer. Okay, understand you do not only have to work on commissions. Employers pay directly to you because it is a benefit program if you know how to manage and if that's what you want to do. You don't have limitations here, guys, in the program, which is why I will tell people it's a program that you can create and sell as a part of your business. So imagine you guys sitting here 5 years from now with 40 contracts to do home buyer programs inside of 40 different companies. When you decide you're going to retire, that's worth something. Not that book of business that got your emails of your past clients. You can't sell that and retire off of anything. I don't know who's pushing that lie out there. Nobody gonna buy your book of business of just emails of clients and give you a couple of $1 million to retire.
Tell the truth.
So I tell y'all I'm the auntie y'all didn't think y'all needed to know. I'm gonna tell the truth. I don't care who. I'm telling the truth. Ain't nobody buying that. So you have to be looking at, well, how am I going to retire out this business, right? That should be some of it. So this is, like I said, one of the only programs that I found that can do it. So program owners, you can sell sponsorships. You can collect a salary on this. You can do per employee benefits. Now, what is per employee benefits is going to be somebody's question. It's when an employer says, for every person you teach, we have to give you $2.25 per hour per employee. Some organizations, the big corporations, if it's a benefit, they have to pay you the same way that they pay other benefit providers like healthcare and everybody else. It's a non-negotiable. You don't even get to say, well, no, I'll come in and do the workshop for you for free. No. They'll tell you you can't. It's how it has to be done. So a lot of times, for example, when we move over to instructors and school owners, the instruction of CE classes, you guys pretty much understand that. What I want you guys to also understand is on-site classes, like pre-license and post-license classes. I get paid to do those for SBC, AT&T through their union. The union says if they know they're going through a downsize, they're contracted to provide the employee other training that helps them look for other jobs. They selected to do pre-license and post-license classes because they wanted their people to be real estate agents. So they paid X amount of dollars, I don't know, $800 or something per person to have this class there. They also paid for training for investment classes, notary classes, all of those kind of things fall all underneath this instructor and school owner line of business. Y'all with me? Notice you don't have to be a licensed agent for that portion either. Okay, so I'm just highlighting some stuff, giving you guys some nuggets. I'm hoping your brains are moving way outside of, oh, I'm an agent and I have a real estate license and I'm stuck in this box. You have no box. There is no box there, okay? No box. The where. So you're probably saying, well, where do we do these? Guys, the best place that I can tell you to do these is at the employer's office, because there's nothing easier than showing up on site during their lunch break, which the employer normally gives everybody their lunch break. That's how I would do it in city of Kansas City, Missouri. They give me a conference room. My folks would show up. My lender would bring some food. My other lender would bring some drinks. People had free lunch on site while we covered real estate basics about how to buy or how to sell, or what down payment assistance is there, or what properties are in the area, whatever it was that we wanted to cover. And we had a captive audience on site. When we started growing and getting too big, we got too big for our team and none of my other agents wanted to keep up. I had to move to online. So I would provide the same EAH program online at lunchtime. So people would just jump in and get this information online so that they did not have to leave their desk for the information. Okay, now I'm going to run through these questions because I only have like 2 more slides left. So I know you guys have some. I see some stuff blinking up here, and let's go through them. If you guys can't tell, this is like my this is stuff I do in the back of my when my eyelids close. I love this thing. I've been doing this for forever. Hello from Chicago. Okay, Natasha, I'll see you next week, the 29th. Okay, we got Hamptons, Columbia. Okay, question. If you add an EH program in your real estate business model, is it legal to do so as an agent? Melanie, would I be showing you anything that's illegal? That's question number 1. I don't roll like that. So, yes, it's legal. Yes, we are familiar with the home buyer workshop. Now we need to bring it to the employer site. Employees, yes. Tax write-offs, absolutely, Stephanie. All kinds of tax write-offs are in there for the employer and you, the operator, because the tax write-offs from the employer side come in from everything from benefit programs, like if they want to give cash, like the example I gave for getting their people credit up to date. If you're working with a housing counseling organization, they can give down payment assistance. Also, that's also a tax write-off. There are lots of employers who do down payment assistance directly to their employees, and then they have stipulations like, well, they can't leave the company for 5 years or they have to pay it back. Like, yeah, there are all kinds of incentives and all that kind of stuff that's in there. So a lot of you are probably like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize all that's there. Yes, and all of that information, there's 80 pages of documentation, 80-page workbook that comes with your class next week that has resources and all kinds of stuff in there, samples, other organizations that are doing it. You name it, it's in there. Are we able to go into apartment complex to educate those individuals? You can go into those complexes if you have the approval of the manager. I would definitely start there first, or the owner of the complex, to then host those. And I will tell you, a lot of them don't want you there because they want captive tenants. They don't want the tenants really going anywhere. That's why we normally start at the employer. But if you have a good reputation and a great complex that doesn't mind, then go for it. Who is usually the point of contact in these corps? CFO, human resources. I've had every level of a contact because I normally go where I know I'm going to get a yes. So with the, for example, with the city of Kansas City, Missouri, it's too big. So what I found is I found a, Jerome was the director of one of the directors in housing, and he knew all of the managers in all of the other areas. So I got a yes with him, and I had a great relationship with the city council person who sits on who's the housing chair. Back then it was Cindy Circo. So Cindy just said, hey, you have her and Shirley Wynn, who, if you go on my Facebook group, you'll see on my Facebook page that they're still friends. And I started helping them. And then that kind of expanded because Cindy Circo introduced me to churches up in Lee Summit. Shirley Wynn had people and clients. And that's why I said your network can really expand pretty quickly, because you might be going in for one group and then other people hear that you're there and they need help. They want to list their house, buy, whatever. So I've used a variety of people, but typically I will start with my first contact of who I know, or if it's a smaller organization, I go to the CEO because I can get a yes really quickly. How should the program be pitched to get paid as a real estate agent? Well, you have to understand how the benefit side works, and you got to go talk with the corporation. It depends on the type of corporation it is. So some corporations, once you sit down with HR for that, you know how that's going to work. It just really depends. I didn't start out asking for money. I wanted to get my foot in the door, because a place like City of Kansas City, Missouri, once I did the research on them and seeing how many employees they had, and they oversee the fire department and the police department, I didn't need them to pay me as a real estate agent. I wanted the sales from all of those departments. And if I could get in that door with them saying yes and put me in a newsletter and all those things, I didn't need to be paid as an agent. I got paid as an agent from directly as a provider from corporations like SBC and AT&T, because I came in through I forget the name of their group. I forget the name of their side group, but they have to hire. They won't allow you just to come in and not be paid as a service. No, you didn't, Melanie. You didn't have to ask. Some questions you don't have to ask, because I'm never going to have anybody do anything illegal. Just to be sure, the early bird special includes the workbook, etc. Yes, Stephanie, that class goes up tomorrow, I think it is. I did this for just the tax time. It goes up tomorrow, or no, it goes up tonight, into tonight or tomorrow. I think it's 12 o'clock, something like that. But yes, it includes your workbook. Your workbook has 80 plus pages. It has sample scripts of what you say how you present yourself, what you ask. We go through a lot in that. So it is an 80-page workbook. And notice you guys heard me say, I'm not going to read everything through it, but you'll have that resource. So if you signed up, you won't have gotten it yet. You'll get it a few days before so you can review it, things like that. But yes, it comes with the workbook. Oh, thanks, Latoya. She's in there helping me. Thank you. Latoya has placed the registration for that one, and now you guys can turn on your mics or whatever. I'm a little over time, but I want to make sure I'm answering any of your questions, and you guys can feel free to turn on your mics and ask questions now, because a question that you guys are going to have is going to be a question for somebody else. Let me go to these last two slides. People are going to ask what's next. If you're interested in the niche, There are several opportunities that we've created. Gain knowledge and go is what I call it. That's that 80-page book that you're going to get. That's the NAR course in itself. It comes with the workbook. So that's what we're doing next week at 2 p.m. Central Time. That's NAR's class. And that's at 429. It's online. If you've paid for it, if you can't attend all 4 hours, it's taped. You'll get the replay. It's no problem. We'll take more time, of course, than this because you have to dig in a little deeper to understand. If you have questions, and I did this because some of you, this is a refresher. Some of you went through this, and all you need to do is go back and go connect with those employers and go pull out your paperwork and go. You don't necessarily need to sit through the class. Okay, some of you understand perfectly what we're talking about. You can go and go run. Go deeper. That's group coaching for 6 people only. That is, now you know you want to set yours up. You need a little bit of help. That's like 3 workshops with 6 people in them. You need questions on like, what do you want to put on your website? How do you set this up? And you are okay with going in with 6 people? That's fine. I will tell you guys, people do not like to do homework. This is a coaching group. You have to do homework. If you don't do your homework, I'm not going to run behind you and tell you to do your homework. You'll just have to do it when you have time to do it. Do your homework. This is a program. You want to do your homework. You're not going to get to a level of $1 million contract or 100 employees that you're working with if you're not going to do some work here. It does require a little elbow grease. Okay. The next, hyper implementation, that is, I am coming to you. So guys, understand what that means. I'm in your face. We are working. We are going to employers and getting your contract while I am on the ground. Okay. That means no BS. That means you got to pick me up at the airport and I'm there at 6 a.m. You better not be late. Me in your face means we want to get this vault. We got to go on site and I'm going to help you go get your contract. Okay. That's what that means. I realized that over the years, people have stop gaps where they can do one, but they don't want to go ask for the business from the employer. They can do this, they can set up the website, but they don't want to get the contract from the employer. They get caught up in what to say, what to do. And with what's going on right now, I'm being asked to move this along so that you guys know NAR has taken the class. They're revamping this class again, and they're going to roll it back out. We have no idea when. And so the only instructors who are here that can actually teach it are the only ones who are teaching it right now. Okay. And so part of it where I'm saying for those who are interested in being instructors, your first thing is they're going to want to know, did you take the class? Do you know what the class is? They're not really expecting you to do all of the things in it, but at least have taken the class before they roll it back out and start accepting instructors again. Okay. That's number 1. And that's last one is you want to be an industry expert. We're doing more of that and going into level 2 of this at Teach at the Beach or one-on-one coaching. And the reason that this is up here is because there's a link that you guys, I think Latoya has already put it in there, that if you want any of those, any information on any of this, just put it in there and the admins will follow back up with you in the next couple of days. I am on the run and under pressure. I have 9 days before I have to pitch a hotel deal. So I'm jumping in to answer the call about EAH since we were getting tons of messages with it. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to shut this off in terms of I'll leave that up in case you guys need my telephone numbers, the website information, and I'm going to take your questions. I'm 15 minutes over, but I want to make sure I'm answering anyone's questions right now. What questions do you have? I know that was a lot. I told you it was a lot because I squeezed a whole bunch in and more. And that's why that class is between 3 and 4 hours.
Tell Jeff happy birthday.
I will. I will tell him happy birthday. That's all you got, Jabari. Now, Jabari made me show up and go to NARAB's event, cancel my nail appointment, and then he doesn't even show up. Y'all know, I was just looking
I
around.
wasn't even planning to go. I knew I wasn't gonna go.
I was
Like
like,
I sent them an email earlier in the week. Here's the events I will be at.
well, you didn't tell me that. You told me, oh, you need to come, whatever. So I'm thinking I'm going to see you. Okay.
I wanted to see
I
you
di-
at the city council thing.
I digress. Anybody else have questions besides Jabari? I'm putting Jabari on timeout.
The forms link that Latoya put up is not pulling up anything
Oh,
unless
let's
it's my
see.
Chromebook.
Yeah, she sent me a new one. It works. I'm registered. The second link she sent. So let me.
Oh, that no, the
Yeah.
forms one is working.
Okay.
It might be the, sometimes what are those things called?
Okay, it's working now. I got it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Tameka, for the
Yes.
hyper implementation that you're offering, will you already have to have your, I guess, the businesses where you want to go, will you already have to have that in place?
Before I show up on the ground?
Yes.
Yes, but we'll work on that before I get there. I won't show up
Okay.
and then just have you running behind me crazy.
Okay.
I'll be like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, because my team will do research on that particular one. You may have to do something like, if you have a contact, there's steps to it. So it's not like, oh yeah, I'll be there tomorrow, Shane. We're gonna go running, go crazy.
Yeah.
That's torture.
Okay.
Only I work
gotcha.
like that. Nobody else
Right.
does
And I was
that.
about to say, yeah, you'll do that.
Oh, I just did it. I just did it this week. I was just like, oh, okay, we got somebody needs some leads. All right, let me jump over here, just go run and go do it. But
Right.
it's, no, I wouldn't do that to you guys.
Okay. Thanks.
Shay knows me oh too well. Yes, I do that for myself, but I would not do that to you guys.
Well, thanks. I'm registered. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, Melanie, come on. I know you guys, here's your time. Where's all your
N-
questions? Bring them down.
No, I'll wait.
Melanie said, is this legal? Yes, it is legal.
I just
Yes,
wanted to-
yes, yes. In
Okay.
fact, guys, if there are people here who are in like Keller Williams and things like that, I used to get that, not the legal part, but can we operate this and not have to give our monies, for example, the monies we get from teaching a class? Do we have to share those? It was just like all these things.
That's a good one.
And I had to, one day I did the class at a Keller Williams office and brought in their OPs so that the OPs could say, no, you don't have to give us any of that money. You only get commissions, so it is, it's a mindset shift,
Okay.
guys. You guys have been conditioned to do business just this way. And it's sometimes hard to kind of shift that brain to do something different. And so something like that, Melanie, I can see you're like, that doesn't sound legal. It's like, it's a business outside of a commission. Remember, you guys used to, I do something, I get the commission from the real estate sale. And I'm saying what you're doing over here, teaching, isn't a real estate sale. So why are you not putting yourself in a position where you get paid for that service?
I like it. I'm gonna implement.
You see where, and the other thing is, guys, some of you can just get on Teams and just show up to get the referrals. Like my team members, they didn't like doing the classes. Like Daniel will do them, but Gina, I don't know if Gina's here. She'd come with me, but she'd take on the buyers. She would not do a presentation. So if I have to be the one on my team who does all the presentations, they have to pay me for that. That's fine. I'll go do that. I don't mind talking. So if you're one of those people who don't want to do the talking, that's fine too. Just find somebody else who does and add them to the team, and you show up and you do your Vanna. Hi, I handle the sellers or I handle the buyers. You don't have to take on all of these roles. Do what you are good at.
Right.
That's it. I do this, I'll put these together, and I'll fly in and just do your workshops or whatever it is. But again, That's why, guys, it's so much business that you don't have to do the stuff you don't want to do.
All right. And I have to ask this question. Is this in your 99 ways to earn
Yeah,
money?
it's in the book, right? This
Okay.
one is in there. It should be
Okay.
in.
All
Mhm.
right, cool.
Yeah, it's in the 99 and the 114 because I
Yeah,
discovered this
I
way
have the
back when.
114. Yeah.
Yeah, but I discovered this way back in when 99, and I think that was in 2013 when I created that book.
Okay. Very good.
I have a question. How long do you think or how long does it typically take for you to build a relationship with a company and they allow you to implement this program with them?
So Stephanie, normally I could do it today. Because I'm gonna go with the lowest hanging fruit. Do I have any friends who have businesses? That's where I start. Do you have any friends that have businesses?
Yes.
Do they have employees?
Yes.
Then if you called the owner up and you said, "Can I come in and educate your employees about buying or selling a home?" What do you think they're going to say?
They'll say yes.
Well, then you just answered your question, honey.
Well, look, I was thinking about like bigger corporations.
Oh,
I
well,
wasn't thinking about the low hanging fruit, which
I
is
go to the low hanging fruit, baby, because the low hanging fruit are easy. And then what they do is your low hanging fruit business owners normally know the larger business owners. So then you get the introduction from the smaller business owner to the next level business owner.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So no, you ain't got to go big because if you go too big and you bomb, then that's not good.
No.
That's what happened to me I told y'all what happened to me on the other one. I bombed that. So you can go smaller and start working on your pieces or whatever. Because some people get caught up in, I can't get to this person. So I get to the groups that I can get a yes from first. So if I got smaller companies, mid-size, who do I know? Start writing down. Who do you know? Who did you do a transaction with? Where do they work? Go on LinkedIn and see where the last 5 people that your best transactions, where do they work now? Where did they work before? Will they do an introduction to somebody who will allow you to come on?
I like that.
So right now, guys, if you had an EAH program right now, you'd have the ears of so many employees because they heard about the NAR lawsuits and everything, and they don't know what's going on. You could have easily just came in and said, "Hey, I'm gonna come on site to tell people what's going on," and that is how those leads and stuff start coming in. Okay, it doesn't always have to be, "I'm coming in to help you buy a house," even though that's the ones that most people want to hear because they want to hear about down payment assistance or something for their son or whatever, daughter, or whatever it is.
Good evening. It's Natasha. I have a
Hello,
question.
Natasha.
Hi. This is something that I've been meaning to do for a number of years. Started it.
A number
Yes.
of years.
A number of years. Started it and then didn't continue with it. And that's a whole other story for a whole nother day. And so I decided, okay, let's pick this bad boy up and run with it.
Right.
Especially because I see the need and it's not really being done. Now, just
Correct.
fast forward, my question is this. Let's say I go to one of my friends that own a business and I want to talk to them about, a nonprofit that has some type of down payment assistance program. My question is, how do you actually put that type of program together? Because the housing agencies that I know here, and I do have a relationship with them, typically go for the much larger Fortune 500, 100 companies, not the small mom and pops.
Gotcha. Well, for me, here's a couple of things that I do. I created my own down payment assistance program. So sometimes I start there for the smaller companies or for ones that don't have any kind of down payment assistance at all. And then I may leave my larger companies for that particular organization. But I don't ever leave any opportunity unturned because, for example, that nonprofit that you're talking about that only wants to do the large ones, find a smaller one, find a smaller nonprofit or create your own down payment assistance program.
Now, when you say create my own down payment assistance program, You mean like being the one to say, hey, I am out of my brokerage? Because I know you're not saying that, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yes, I am.
You are.
Yeah, I have
Shut
my
the front door.
own.
Okay.
I have my own programs. So if I don't know if you follow me or anything, but some of you have been around and you've seen me do buy a house, get a car. I
Right.
created that program 20 years ago with one of the builders out of my EAH program. But I also, like right now, I just rolled out, this was last week, for the people who are in the broker program. You guys seen me get on the ground and roll out the home buyer workshop for the housing authority. That down payment program will have $500 is where we started. Free down payment for any level of a person. There's a lender who's giving something. I just went to all of my team, all the people who want to be on this team, and said, what do you have? Do you have down payment? Do you have gifts? All kinds of ways, Natasha. I just looked at what was going to be needed for this particular market. And so, yes, guys, you can create your own down payment assistance program. I encourage you to do it. And that's where that kind of space of become the expert, create your own programs. I'm not going to wait on, if I find a down payment program like from the city or something, then I'll normally say you can couple their down payment program with mine. My down payment program is going to be this, and this. I may have lenders giving $1,000, title companies giving a discount here, insurance people giving this. It could be a number of different things depending on my market, plus whatever city has a program, I add that in there. I just get real creative on what my programs look like, depending on what the market is and what the market needs.
So I thank you for saying that, because I work with a bunch of lenders that have their own type of program, because sometimes the housing agencies and their program run out of money, didn't work, whatever the case might be. So I have to cover my buyers' backs.
Right.
So I say we always work with a lender that in case this doesn't work out, here's plan B.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm going to just add some of my own stuff to it, as what you just said. So thank you.
You're welcome. See, that's why you guys got to show up for nuggets.
Yep. Absolutely. That was a nugget.
All right. What's the last question I can answer for you guys? I've got to run here. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Melanie, do you have one?
I think I'm good. I'm so excited.
Okay. Is there anyone here from Orlando?
I'm Orlando.
Who's that?
Melanie.
Well, it says Tampa.
Tampa, Orlando.
Okay,
I'm central.
I have developer builder meetings next, or this Friday again. So if you guys know anybody who is interested in working with my team on the developer, we're building 25 houses in the Orlando market and the surrounding areas after we get these 25 up, and we're looking for buyers agents. So guys, let me know so I can give you guys the info on that, because we'll be doing interviews next on, I keep saying next Friday, it's this Friday. This Friday we're doing interviews for buyers agents for new construction, new build homes in Orlando market. Okay.
All right. I'm sending it to LaToya now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one quick question about the Orlando market. If this is Natasha again, if I have any buyers interested in that area, I know you're looking for buyers agents. I'm not down south, I'm upstate. But if I have buyers that might be interested, how do I get in touch with you to do so? Yes, we're Facebook
just
friends,
send it
but
to me. Are you looking at your chat box?
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put my email in.
Okay.
And then just like all referrals and things like that, it works the same way. So if you guys have buyers who are in Orlando, these are new construction builds, and the, developers and builders and us, we have kind of everything already put together. We've done these already. It's just now we're ramping up, and we have to do 25. So
Got it.
the actual builder is on site with me on Friday. So that's where we're looking at people who can handle buyers. But if you guys have buyers already, just send them on over.
Yeah, I'm New York coming. So
okay.
New York buyers. Okay.
All righty, no problem.
All right, well, I'm game. Thank you so much. You have a
Okay.
great one. All right.
Okay,
See you
have a
later.
good night.
Hi,
Thank you.
Tawanda. Good to see your face. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.